came for the first time when I was 18, and I was too young then, I think, and I don't think I was responsible enough or focused enough really to commit myself.
I went to art school in the 70s, so I'm sort of redoing it again.
I didn't think they'd want to take on a mature student at university, and I was so surprised when I got offered an unconditional place here.
I do feel in a way that I've been given a second chance to come back, because I did a foundation when I was 17 and didn't do anything with it, kind of thing, and sort of drifted through life, and so this is like the second chance for me to really give it a go.
Firstly, I feel really privileged to be here, because it's something that I always wanted to go to art college, so it's taken me all these years to get here.
I'm really enjoying it. I think I've got more time to focus really on what I want.
I think it's ideal for people of my age, you know, who wanted to do it when they were younger, and they've had to, you know, been married and had children like I did, and then come back to it.
At my time of life, taking up a place that, you know, young kids should be doing, but I've been told that that's a wrong way to think. I mean, we're all exploring our own interests and our own ambitions, you know, even at an older age. So yes, I shouldn't be ageist against myself, I think.
Yeah, I used to panic quite a lot when I was 18 and worry about what I was supposed to be achieving and not really actually enjoy and engage with the work. And I've really found, as I've got older, been able to just get what I want out of the course.
It makes you feel alive, you know, so rather than feeling like an empty nest, you feel it's just you're entering a new phase. That's how I feel anyway.
It's given me a chance to come back to do the things that I really want to do, and experiment and play around with art, and hopefully find myself a new career at the end of it.
I find it really a real privilege, I suppose, to be a part of it.
The biggest thing is trying to balance commitments and put enough time in to get the value out of it. It's easy enough to be sidetracked by family and professional requirements and so on, and not do it. And it's one of those things I certainly feel it's a lot tougher and demanding than I anticipated. And I think it's one of those things you've got to really put the time in if you're going to get something out of it.
There's always a thing there with, like, is this a hobby or is this a career? And as a mature student, that's more of a struggle when you're trying to balance it with another career, like a friend on the course, architect, another friend on the course runs her own business from home. So there's always this kind of, oh no, I'm not a proper artist, I'm just a Sunday painter kind of fear, which you have to overcome.
The difficult bit is, you know, as I say, the practical stuff like managing work and working around all the other kind of responsibilities you have when you're a mature student.
I do find it a little difficult with trying to fit everything in with work, family, travel.
I do know my contemporaries, other people on my year and myself, we all struggle like with the balancing of like, okay, this week I've got to do so many lessons teaching. I teach violin to earn some money to help fund children's nursery, really.
I think everyone coming into university is treated like an adult, but I think if you're a mature student, I think they probably expect a bit more from you, because you have lived a bit longer and you have had more experience of what is required outside of the university environment.
The difficulties are that we get no space, and actually not having a space or not feeling we can take up very much space, sometimes being cramped for space, even in designated lessons, has been a problem. I think it affects the sense of being valuable to the college sometimes. So that's quite a negative for me, and I would look to improve that.
Sometimes you can feel like you're a bit of an add-on if you're part-time. Well, I think some of it is your own kind of prejudice is the right word, but your own kind of feelings of, oh, there's lots of younger people here, you know, at a key stage in their life, and you're just sort of coming in, so you don't really count as much. But then it does kind of go. You begin to feel that seems to disappear. You know, once you get engrossed in what you're doing.
I think there's a really good thing between mature students and part-time students. There seems to be a nice community between years. Like everyone seems to know each other, and there's a bit of solidarity, and like we're in this together. We're all juggling different things as well as trying to do the art.
I guess I feel I don't have the same kind of focus that maybe I might have been able to give when I was 18. I don't actually want to focus on this all the time, and so the part-time's really good.
So that's very interesting, meeting, you know, new people, and being with lots of different age groups is quite stimulating and creative in a way, you know, because you wouldn't normally mix with such a broad cross-section of ages and backgrounds.
Mixing with the younger students has been really inspiring. They're so full of energy, and I love the energy of the college and everything that's going on in it. You know, that's very inspiring for somebody of my age who's had a long break for years.
It can be quite difficult to both be assertive and then also sometimes be over-assertive. So to find your balance with working with people who are sometimes younger than you in positions of authority or at the same age as you. You know, boundaries are quite complex between mature students and tutors, I think.
The thing with the other members of the students in my course, they were very, very cliquey, and they got together much more socially than I was able to. I had to go home and feed children and look after my family, and so I couldn't go out with them in the evenings and socialise with them and really begin to be part of the group.
Most of the quality, I think, comes out with working with other students and having those comparisons to draw and to work with and liaise quite tightly and encourage each other seems to be quite an up and down in the whole process in terms of how one feels about one's work and how it develops. And I think you need the peer group support.
This year has been particularly difficult, I think, because we haven't had to be in the studio like quite so much, so even the group has dissipated slightly, and we don't really see what everyone else is doing.
Sometimes you feel a little bit as if you're on your own, but I know that our group is particularly good, and we all make sure that we meet up every week to keep connected.
Probably the best part, the most supportive part, is the people that you start the course with and the connections you make. I think you can't work in a vacuum, so I think it's very important to keep attached to the college, because particularly if you try and build up some relationships with the full-timers and go around and visit them and make an effort to go and see them and speak to them, and then you feel very much part of a group and very much part of a contemporary sort of movement as opposed to just isolated. And I think that for me has been quite interesting and quite valuable.
One of the gripes I've heard from people is that you can't contact people across the courses. It's something people really want to do. They want to collaborate with each other. And also they want to be able to tap into other resources and share resources more than the budgets seem to allow.
I mean, at the beginning it's a bit of a problem because you don't know quite how many questions you can ask and who you can go to, but you soon get into the swing of it, and then as long as you understand that everybody will help you if you ask, and they're all out there to help you, but lots of it has to come from you. You can't just wait for it to happen. I think it all works for you if you're strong enough to actually go and find out the answers to the questions you have. And I think if you're confident enough to feel happy to ask for help and to ask questions rather than wait for it to be delivered, I think then it does work for you. I think you have to be quite independent. You have to be quite bold that way to get what you want and what you need out of it, really.
I mean, I work in secondary schools where we try to collapse the hierarchy and encourage young people to lead in improving their own learning environment. And there's definitely a place for higher education to be catching up with those ideas. Because people come with a huge amount of experience, fresh ideas, and they could invigorate the institution if there was a place for that, if there was a platform.
When I was leaving school, I knew what I wanted to. I knew that I didn't really want to be a secretary for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something more, and I loved being creative and making things and drawing and painting. But I wouldn't have had the confidence to come to university at that age. I wasn't confident at all, really, and it wouldn't. I think coming to it later in life, it's a very big bonus. Because you can look around at all the rubbish and you can step aside from that and just concentrate on the really important information that you really want to take in, and you don't have to mess around. You can actually focus your work more really from day one.